Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sydney Award, and I'm asking you guys to help me grow by subscribing to my YouTube channel. And when you do that, please don't forget to hit the notification bell for more video uploads. So, guys, today I've done a video that I never thought I would do actually, but because I did encourage you to ask me questions in my inbox about my journey to the UK or anything you'd like to know about the whole process. People have been asking questions, and I just realized that I've been answering quite a lot of similar questions. So I feel like it's becoming a lot more boring, and I decided to wrap all this up by creating a video. So I hope that I'm going to touch on all the questions that you've asked, and even if I'd answered you earlier, I know this video will still help you or maybe help another person who's been, having similar kind of questions and they don't know who to ask. Because I just decided to make, a video out of the blues. I don't really have a list of the questions written down in an orderly manner. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to think of the questions and randomly select whichever that comes first and try to answer it to the best of my knowledge and to keep it to the point so that you are able to grasp and get everything that I'm going to say. And hopefully, you're going to benefit from it. All right, so let me start. Okay, so my first question is which of the exams did you sit for first? Yeah, is it IELTS or CBT? Well, guys, I did sit for my IELTS first, and in my opinion, I will tell you boldly that IELTS is the major obstacle in this whole process. I've actually spoken with some of my colleagues and friends here, and they do agree with me that IELTS or OET was like a major hindrance because some of them, just like me, did IELTS more than once. And I do also have a colleague that sat for it 7 times. So, with all that, we're just showing you and telling you how much that exams is not a joke. It is not a joke. And so I did sit for my IELTS first, and after passing my IELTS, I did my CBT. So I believe that is well answered. All right, so question number two. How long did the whole process take you? Um, it roughly took me 6 months before I relocated to this place. Um, after passing my IELTS exams, I knew very well that I'd done it. I did know that every other thing was just going to be falling into place on its own because it is IELTS, and I knew from the beginning that IELTS was the major hindrance. So after passing my IELTS exams, I immediately registered with the NMC. NMC is the Nursing and Midwifery Council of the UK, and they needed my documents for verification. So I had to go to NCK to do that. So I took my documents there. The NCK, of course, after paying them, sent my documents to NMC. NMC verified my documents and sent me a link that was going to be enable me do the CBT exams. So before all that, I was looking for an agency. So that was the time I was looking for an agency that was going to help me with relocating to the UK. The first agency I found was MMA because people had been speaking about MMA relocating them to this place, and I had to look into it. So I registered with MMA, and I told them that I was interested in, getting NHS jobs, and I didn't want care homes because I heard that they did do a lot of recruiting for the care homes. So I told them I needed NHS in particular. Well, I worked with them until when they got me an interview with a care home, and because I'd already set my goals and already known what I wanted, I had to not really tell them directly that I don't want the interview because I was looking for a job. I just kept delaying the interview on that side and tried looking for another agency on this other side. So I met an agency called Medline, and with Medline, because I already had an interview, I kept on pressurizing them to get me interviews. So I was lucky enough because it didn't even take like 2 weeks, and Medline got me a list of NHS interviews, and they told me to pick one that I was gonna do. Well, so from the list they got me, I had to select one, and then they booked me an interview. And come that day, I did sit for the interview, and I passed it in one sitting, and that just speeded up everything. So I did my interview without sitting for my CBT, which of course is not the case of all the agencies that you get. So again, I was very lucky. So after that, I got a job offer that's like a letter a letter of acceptance for the job from the employer, and some of the requirements they needed were, of course, it's IELTS and CBT. So I did tell them that I booked for my CBT, and the only thing I had to do was go and do my CBT exams. So again, when I went for my CBT exams, I passed it because I know very well that CBT was not a big deal. All right, so is it question three? Well, I'm not so sure, but the next question is how much did you use for the whole process? Oh, guys, I used approximately 200K. Earlier on, I told you that I did a research for my IELTS exams, and you know very well IELTS is costly. And apart from that, if you take into consideration, the many activities that go along with it, the travelings, being that I was not within Nairobi where almost everything was being done, I had to travel, I had to book hotel accommodations, I had to eat, and I had to actually stay there for a couple of days. Um, I did pay for my IELTS. I did pay for my CBT, and my CBT. I did my CBT in Uganda, Kampala. Well, that was another expense on its own, and I did pay for NCK verification of documents. There was the registration of NMC that you had to pay, and you had to pay it in full before you moved to this country. Then there was UK TB test that you had to do. Then they, of course, there are these small nitty gritties that people may just omit, but you have to take everything into account when you're talking about the cost. You have to account for all the pennies. We had, applying for the passports. So very small things that might just escape the mind. So it was something close to 200K. And I know guys will be like, oh my God, all that, I'm not going to be doing this. I think I'm going to give up. It's not, I know it's close to impossible to, just sit up and decide to save up to 200K and then start the whole process. I'm going to discourage anybody who thinks that I did sit and save up 200K and then started the whole thing. No, I didn't do it like that. I actually did it step by step. You finish with IELTS, then you go finish with CBT, finish with NMC. So it means the little money that you get in between, in your daily life, in your daily living, is the same little money you squeeze in and sacrifice for the whole thing. And so at the end of it all, it becomes worth it and not expensive. All right, so what happens after you've passed your IELTS in CBT? You fly? Right, just joking. Okay, so after passing your IELTS in CBT, we're going back to the major three. You're going back to your agency, you're going back to your employer, and you're going back to NMC. Also, but then NMC should have everything they need because they do need your IELTS, they do need your CBT, and we know when you pass, the results are sent to them. Um, the same NMC will need to verify with the doctor about your medical conditions and all that. So they'll be sending your doctor some kind of medical form for them to fill and send it back to them. And then your employer, on this other side, you'll be engaging with the employer according to what they need. So they also need, some of the things like references from previous jobs that you're doing, and when they're satisfied with everything and they feel everything is in check, they're gonna issue a COS. A COS is Certificate of Sponsorship that allows you to live in the UK and work in the UK. So they're gonna advise you to book your visa because they don't do that. So now we're going to our agency. I did use Medline in conjunction with Global Learners Program that was recruiting for the NHS. And I was very lucky that they paid for my visa because I know a couple of people that paid for their visas alone, yet they were also working, they were coming to work for the NHS. Um, After that, you let your employer know that your visa is, you have your visa, and then they book you a plane ticket, and they also have to put in place your accommodation. The accommodation, I think, is a negotiation between them and the agency. So when I went for Medline, it's because I had a bucket list of some things that I was looking into. I was checking for an agency that had a good offer, like 3 months accommodation, and I think that's the major, uh, the longest kind of accommodation the agencies offer. But I know some do offer two, others most offer one, and so I had to go for that three because with the three it allows you to settle in well and acclimatize to this place and be able to get for your house that you feel will befit you before you move out. Well, after all is said and done, you're going to realize that you've got your plane ticket, you've got your COS, and every other thing in check, and that the only thing remaining for you to do is to fly. So, my parting shot to you guys is that everything you put your head and mind into is very achievable. If I, Sydney, did it, I don't think there's something holding you back from doing it. Well, there are people before me who did it and they're here. So as there's still a lot of space and room for you guys to join us here. So it only takes hard work, determination, focus, and a lot of sacrifice for you to make it. Nobody's gonna serve this to you on a silver platter. And for the nurses out here, I feel like we are very lucky because this is a kind of opportunity that is not gonna come back twice, knocking onto your doors. So when you have the time now, do grab it and make sure that you use all that to your benefit. So also want to let you know that the whole journey, the whole process was not a walk in the park. there had been so many obstacles that so many people who've made it have faced, and that includes me. But that is not something that is supposed to not supposed to throw you off the balance and make you give up, because if you give up, it means you really didn't want it. You need to have that kind of I can attitude. I do need it, and I'm really gonna go for it. So be a go-getter and make sure that nothing holds you back from reaching into your dreams. Turn your dreams into a reality like I just did. Well, thank you so much for staying with me until this very end. I'm just gonna ask you again, guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and help me grow. This is not the only type of videos that I will make. I do love music and all that. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you're gonna realize that I do upload very different kind of videos. Make sure that you hit the notification bell, because my next video will be about my experiences that I have faced and gained so far from when I did come to this country. So thank you again, and do have a nice time. Bye.